Hello and welcome back, everybody. I wish I had some really exciting and wonderful news to share with you all today with regards to taking a ride on the bike, but fortunately it's a pretty somber day here in Flagstaff. It's kind of probably hard to tell in the camera, but we are in the midst of a massive forest fire just outside the city limits, and in fact my neighborhood is on a status of set, meaning we could be asked to evacuate at any point, and you can't really tell, but the entire sky is full of ash and smoke, and there's actually little particles of ash that are just raining down on the ground, and it smells very strongly of campfire, just of fire. It's very sobering. So I was just going to take a very short ride down the road to really capture what is happening in town right now so you guys can see, but it's very scary. I've never lived in a place where I've really had to deal with wildfires, so yeah, it's a little scary. I don't know how else to say it, but I had to pack a bin this morning of stuff that we will need if we have to evacuate, and the Raphael fire is just maybe 10 to 15 miles outside of my neighborhood right now. So that's the news, and we're gonna go for a short ride just to try and get our mind off of it, but also to really show you guys what we're dealing with here in Flagstaff. It's really hard to express and get across on the camera, but there's literally a haze in the air of smoke. So this is for real. All the national forests are shut down. They've kicked all campers and RVs and everything out. I can't go on any of those back roads that I normally go on because they're all shut down. The fire is just down that way over there. So scary stuff indeed. I'll show you guys a map, the current map of the fire footprint, so you can see what I'm talking about here as far as just the expanse, the extent of the fire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically head south on 89A, which is the road that goes down towards Sedona, because that's where, as of right now, that road is still open to public travel, but I may get up here and it may be closed. This fire right now, the Raphael fire, not only is it encroaching into the city, into town here, but it is 0% contained. It is completely uncontained, and they've been dropping retardants on it and water on it, and they've had fire crews in there and helicopter and fixed wing, all sorts of different crews out there. They've been burning block lines. They've actually been intentionally burning areas to create stops in the fuel. Wow, yeah. But as of right now, it's still going pretty heartily, and no sign of really slowing down. And normally this time of year we would be getting some monsoons here in Arizona, but they've been pretty light, and this weekend we're forecast to have 2 really hot, dry days, which of course is also bad. However, the slight bit of good news is that starting next week we are actually expected to start getting some rain, so everybody's kind of fingers crossed, but we're on the ready. We're on the ready to evacuate, so it doesn't get any realer than that. Last I heard, there are about 400 crew members working on this fire, give or take, plus or minus, 50 or something. But that was the last I heard, and like I said, they've been flying aircraft out there, dumping all sorts of chemical retardants and water, and just working the lines. But it's such a huge fire. It's 40,000 acres now, that they have multiple lines that they've got to work on, and they're not able to. This is a long chain of cars here. I'm wondering if they're being evacuated. I may have to turn around, actually, guys. There may be a roadblock up here because we're getting into the kind of the hot zone here. It's really pretty smoky now. There's a very famous place here in Flagstaff called Edge of the World. It's in the forest land just off to my right, and it's been completely evacuated and it's likely going to burn. You can sort of see the escarpment sticking out way up there. Oh wow, it's actually raining right now. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a few raindrops falling. This is good, please, rain. We need the rain. Yeah, my goal here was just to go out to the 89 lookout vista that looks down over Oak Creek Canyon and see if we can just get a sense of how bad the fire is. But I can already tell just right up here, it's getting much thicker. Very thick, in fact. All of these trees around me are at risk, especially the ones to my right, because the fire is over off to the right. So now where I am on the highway, there is active burning probably less than 10 miles off to my right. Probably less than that, probably more like 5 miles. And it's very likely that this road is going to be shut down very soon, if it isn't already. You can really see the smoke coming now up here on the road. Oh, it is really thick. Yeah. Wow, this is a little bit apocalyptic, guys. Oh man, so this turn up here on the right, just right up here, I've gone this way so many times. Harding Points, East Pocket, all those places that I've gone is right here. This road is closed now, I guarantee it. I guarantee it's gated off and closed. Yep, there's a sign right there. No entry, fire hazard. There you go. So all of these forest roads are completely closed to the public. The entire Coconino National Forest is closed. The Walmart by my house is completely full. The entire parking lot is full of camper vans and RVs that have been kicked out of the National Forest. It's like an entire little civilization popped up in the Walmart parking lot. Wow. So the fire is basically just beyond these ridges here, just over the hill there. And you might remember I went out to Harding Point, which is right there. That's at very high risk of burning. Yeah. So the main fire line is just over these hills. The air is just dense with smoke. I really don't know how much this is going to come out on the camera, but it's profound. It really is, and it's only going to get worse. I fear, just because of the forecast. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down a little bit further and find a good place to turn around and then just head back home, because I don't want to be away from home for too long while we're on a set status, because at any point we could be asked to evacuate, and I don't want to take that risk, man. It's just scary, and sad. Such beautiful country, and it's just all burning. Arizona is on fire. There are dozens of wildfires burning in Arizona right now. Many of them well over 30,000 acres. Some of them, I can't remember the name of the fire. There's one down east of Phoenix that has, it was 2 fires and they've connected, and now it's one single fire that's several 100,000 acres. So it's, yeah. sobering. Anyway, yeah, back to the focus here. I think I'm gonna just turn around right here, where this other gentleman is. All right, let's do this. Yeah, there's little bits of ash falling in the sky too. It's hard to probably get that on camera, but yeah, it's it's surreal. It's kind of like when I went to see the eclipse. It kind of seems just supernatural. So I don't know how else to say it, but it's unsettling, we'll say. You know, normally this is one of my favorite rides on the motorcycle just because it's so beautiful. I mean, this is one of the prettiest drives in all of Arizona, for sure. And right now it's I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it other than unsettling. I think that's the way I would describe it. You really get a sense of the smoke. So that's basically right behind those trees is maybe 3-4 miles is the front of the fire, and there's active smoke pouring over those trees right there. So I need to get the heck out of here because you know, I know that they're actively working that front there, and when I watched the live update this morning, it was optimistic sounding as far as like progress that's being made, but it's still, you just never know. I mean, anything can happen, especially with how dry it is here, and at any point there could be a gust of wind or anything that just pushes it out of control. So wow, the whole Oak Creek Canyon is just full of smoke. That is, wow, that's just wild. And it's really hard to breathe up here. It's like when you're sitting at a campfire ring and the smoke blows at you and your eyes get all burned, and you know, you have to move your seat to the other side just because it's so uncomfortable. That's what it's like right now, just riding the motorcycle. So yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. And it just makes me think about all that footage I've seen online of like people driving through active flames, and it makes me think about the firefighters. How do they even function in these conditions? Like, I mean, especially near the fire where it's got to be exponentially worse. So yeah, that's my video for today. I'm really sorry that it wasn't something more exciting and me talking about all my cool accessories for my Himalayan or my trip plan for Colorado in a couple weeks, but sadly, this is life right now. This is my reality. You can't even see Mount Humphreys in the distance. It's completely obscured by smoke. Some really big news is I just got back from Wyoming, the Bighorn Mountains, where I spent some time just camping and exploring, but I also was up there running a 100-mile ultra marathon race through the woods, through the mountains, and it was fantastic. You know, I finished, which was the only thing I really wanted to do, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I took it nice and easy, took it nice and slow, but I actually did fairly well. I finished under 30 hours, and you know, I'm thrilled with how it all went down. So I'll definitely have a post about that at some point with some of the footage from the race and some of the pictures and just kind of my general thoughts on the course. But it is it's probably one of my favorite 100-milers that I've ever done. It's right up there, definitely top 5 for sure. I think Hard Rock is probably still my favorite as far as scenery and experience. But yeah, Bighorn, definitely, I might even say top 3. You know, I ran the race and then we spent 5 days just camping in the wilderness and just exploring, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And it was very long overdue. You know, we haven't been on a quote vacation in essentially 2 years, so it was magnificent. There's another fire burning not far from here. If you head east towards the Mogollon Rim, and you actually start to head down the Mogollon Rim. So if you guys recall, I did that 100-mile bike ride a few months back, and I went to that gas station and turned around after 50 miles. Well, the fire is just down the road from that gas station, and it's called the Backbone Fire, and it is also about 50,000 acres, and it's right on the towns of Strawberry and the town of Pine, and both of those towns have been completely evacuated by the mayor. And I have a good friend that lives in Pine, and he has been evacuated. He's now living in Prescott with a friend, and he has no idea the condition of his house. Oh, man. Alright guys, well, with that said, I'm going to sign off. Just wanted to give you guys a somber update of why I haven't posted here this week and been on vacation, but also it's a huge wildfire, so I'll let you know if anything crazy happens, but for now I'm just going to focus on being ready and helping those that need help. So take care everyone, and please be safe. See ya.